Hello, everyone. Welcome back inside of Destiny the Taken King. Nick here with Degenerate Gaming. And today we're going to be talking about some of the new vendor rolled weapons here in the tower. Also, this is kind of a weapon review series reboot. I did a few of these and they were pretty well received. I've actually been kind of waiting for this so I can kind of kick this series off again. I promise I'm going to probably go a little more in depth this time. Uh, I have some few things that I wanted to touch on real quick as we kind of run around here. First thing we're going to do is take a run over to New Monarchy and look at a few things that, as I said, I'm going to reboot the weapon review series. So, again, if you guys have weapons that you want to see, see me do reviews on, please leave it down in the comment section below. I will do my best to get those out to you as quickly as possible. I do already have a few ideas though, so they may not come for a few videos down the line, depending on what you guys already want and how it coincides with my game plan. But please feel free to throw out comments, suggestions, and everything else, and I will be much happy to, or very happy to discuss these things with you and get these out to you, however you choose. Anyways, for New Monarchy, really am not concerned with the armor. Don't care about it. Just kind of going to throw that out there. A few things I wanted to touch on for New Monarchy, though, is this Righteous 7. And this thing is a pretty serious auto rifle. It's in the same archetype as Zalo Supercell, I believe, so uh, it's not like Suros where it's that very slow rate of fire, and it's not the high rate of fire. So it actually has a pretty good archetype in there, as it didn't really get hit by any buffs or nerfs or anything like that. But as you can see, it's got perfect balance, counterbalance, and it also has reinforced barrel. Also has lightweight. I think you'd be all right with lightweight on this. If you really want the range between perfect balance is pretty a wash, and then counterbalance makes that recoil just completely vertical. This is an awesome roll on this gun, and I did a review on this, and it seems like this roll is better. I actually am going to be probably doing a review on this here rather quickly. Awesome all around auto rifle. I definitely recommend picking this up if you haven't yet. I am definitely, it'll probably be the first one I buy. No shit. I'm not going to even lie to you here. And then the only other two things I really saw here, I saw the burden of proof. It's got final round rangefinder on it. It also has rifled barrel. A very interesting role. You can go field choke and kind of do some things there. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Without full auto, I don't know how good it's going to be. And then another heavy hitter from New Monarchy last time would have been the Objection. And this actually does have a pretty good roll on it. It has counterbalance. I don't really think that's necessary because it has such a high stability either. And I already did a previous video review on this, comparing it to Thunderlord. It is pretty close. As you can see, the stability is way up there. This one actually has small bore though, so it will increase that range and increase that stability a little bit. No reload perks on it, but let's face it. I mean, it's a heavy machine gun. You're basically going to get what you're going to get. Rangefinder on this and counterbalance really is kind of interesting. It's kind of one of those in betweens. It's not really like a god roll on it, but I think it's a very serviceable roll for whatever you may be doing. It's a good all around heavy machine gun in my opinion. Good for PvE or for Crucible, really, whether you decide to run small bore or not. I have one from the last round with brace frame on it, and it drops the mag down to I think 28. So really, it's not that big of an issue in Crucible. In PvE, there's good ones out there, probably better ones in my opinion. However, it's a good one to have and keep in the vault. That I will say. Coming on down to the Crucible vendor, really he has the majority. The majority of his weapons have pretty good rolls, or at least interesting ones on them. We're going to touch on a couple of them here. The Deal Breaker has crowd control, counterbalance, and brace frame. And again, if you can deal with a very small magazine size, that is a pretty good roll on it. I don't really think crowd control is going to do you a whole lot because you're going to be reloading quite a bit. I think if you get a reload perk here with this, with counterbalance and brace frame, like something like spray and play perhaps, that would be pretty good. But I think crowd control will be serviceable. This is a kind of an odd gun as well, just because it has such a nasty kick. I think it counterbalance is going to make this gun. It really is going to be the only reason why anybody even purchases this in the first place. Moving over to the dirtiest pulse rifle of all time, the Hawksaw, everyone's favorite. It also has counterbalance on it, along with fitted stock and small bore. So you're going to be getting pretty close to max stability with a short mag. And this thing is going to have completely up and down recoil. This thing is going to be everybody's new favorite again. It's right in that, pulse rifles are what they are. They're awesome, especially if you get them with counterbalance on it. There isn't much better. And another thing I thought was pretty interesting was the last extremity here, triple tap and Zen moment is pretty interesting too. I thought this would be a pretty good one for the, or excuse me, for the PVE crowd. Triple tap Zen moment, pretty good. It's got a short mag. You can even go casket mag if you can deal with that shitty stability, or even lightweight would be a good one here. Again, more of a PVE focused scout rifle. Let's see here. What else? I gotta check my notes. The Ruin Wake is the last one I wanted to look at here for the Crucible weapons, and it also has counterbalance. So counterbalance on a lot of these weapons. We have high caliber rounds, armor piercing rounds, so you can increase the impact a couple of different ways there. It also has brace frame, which gives you max stability. And if you look, it has field choke on it, so you can do some interesting things here with that washout there. It's a little more impact and range if you would like. With brace frame, you're really not going to lose anything. You'd probably still come out in the green for the stability as far as your loss. And also has rangefinder, which is a 6% increase. So it gives you a little buff there, and it kind of attacks that low range. Probably going to see a few more of those running around in the Crucible, I would imagine. And probably that role in particular. I really don't have used the Ruin Wake because I have quite a few good heavy machine guns. However, you never know how things are going to shake out and what's going to be the next the next really good thing. I think I'm really not too excited about a lot of the vendor weapons from the factions. The Crucible ones, there's a lot of good ones in there, a lot of ones I want to check out as well. Dead Orbit is another one that really didn't get much. Really, none of these are all that interesting except for the Patch A, which has hand-loaded rifle barrel. You can go either way if you don't like that reload speed. It also has knee pads. It has final round, which it has a 6-round magazine. So odds are you're not going to be running down to the end of that magazine anytime soon. Crucible, so it's kind of final round really isn't all that good on it, but it does have knee pads, and it does have some pretty decent range on this, so I could see this thing competing in Crucible with some of those one bangers like the Party Crasher and the Conspiracy Theory D, or at least the Quest version anyway, or some other roles that you might have. And again, the rest of the stuff here, really nothing worthwhile. While we're here, we'll swing over to the Vanguard and check out what he's selling. Again, one thing I am extremely excited about is to play with this Apple of Discord. And simply because it has counterbalance. It also has head seekers. These are two very great perks to have on a pulse rifle, especially for this thing, because it has such a nasty kick to the left. Very great pulse rifle to use. I like the sights on it. I like the hollow sights and the assault scope as opposed to the range scope and the iron scope. It also has reinforced barrel, You can get hand loaded is probably the best one to run, so you don't run lose that stability. Not really a whole lot of stability perks here in this weapon, but snapshot. This is going to be great for your iron banners and for your maybe your trials, just general crucible play. This thing is going to be the new monster pulse rifle. I have a feeling, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. The 1,000 yard. The old 1,000 yard. This thing actually, what they did is it seems like they made it a very PvE friendly. And actually, with this thing, what these perks scream to me is totems in the raid, and I'll tell you why. It has unflinching, it has underdog, and if that weren't enough, it also has Malleus Maleficarum, what the fuck ever. It does bonus damage to high wizards. So essentially, and if you don't want to go with that, you can go with armor piercing rounds. Another good choice in this. All three of these perks here, even oiled frame with the increased reload speed, it doesn't really need it, but it's good because you do reload your sniper quite a bit, or at least I do. And underdog and unflinching just scream boomers raining down on top of me, trying to get sniper shots, or maybe you're getting jacked up by thralls, shot by acolytes in the ass. I mean, this thing was born for the totems. I just, I'm actually kind of excited to get one. I have a role similar to this, but this not nearly as good. So I'll have to double check that. Let me see here. Another interesting thing I wanted to look at was the down and doubt for you people who like these hand cannons. This thing has pretty shitty range, and if it had better range, it probably would be awesome. But it has triple tap, it has brace frame with max stability, and it also has mulligan. So again, interesting roll. Nothing too out of the ordinary. The range really kind of sucks. I mean, if you could get something in the place of mulligan, maybe a range perk of some sort there, that would probably be pretty good. Moving on to Future War Cult. And she actually has a couple in here that are pretty good, actually. Not many, but some of them are pretty good here. The Vanity's got another good roll this time, I feel, for Crucible, if that's your thing. Rifle barrel really attacks the range on that, which is a weak point of this thing. It has third eye, and it also has life support. You could run extended mag if you want to. I would assume most people would run rifle barrel. It also has the Sure Shot IS, which is a really good scope for PvP. I think if I was going to pick a hand cannon to run in a legendary one and I didn't have any of the Iron Banner gear or the Iron Banner one or something, anything special. If I was just looking for a normal, ordinary, legendary hand cannon, this is probably the one I would pick up. Also, pulse rifles still, in a big way, have got some vicious rolls on them. This thing, the villainy has glass half full, it has head seeker, and perfect balance. You can go reinforced barrel if you really want that extra range. I think perfect balance is a nice thing for this. And again, you have the quick draw. You have your red dot ORS1. This is, you know, probably not the worst one ever. The focus lens will give you, a light snappy scope. Really that's up to personal preference. It doesn't really jack up your stats all that much to where you're really going to notice anything. Still interesting roll though, probably be pretty good for PvE with the bottom, or excuse me, with glass half full. I know from personal experience, I typically run out of a lot, or excuse me, run out of ammo quite a bit when I use pulse rifles because I'm just letting that trigger rip so often. Especially with Head Seeker, you're not always looking to be accurate, you're just looking to be in the general range. And the last one we're going to want to talk about here is the vacancy for Future War Cult C Fusion Rifle. It has rangefinder, also has brace frame, which kind of maxes out the stability, and hot swap. So you get bonus accuracy for this. And as you can see, the impact is just almost maxed out. I mean, this thing is a damn laser beam. Plus, it hits like a damn semi. Not too big on fusion rifles, but I know some people are, so I figured I'd throw that in there. That's probably the best one that I saw. Okay, and that is your vendor rolled weapons. At least my recommendations as of this point. And remember, I will be doing in-depth weapon reviews on a lot of these weapons. So if you have something you want to see, please let me know here down in the comments. You can shout it out on Twitter at me. And again, follow me on Twitter, Nick at Degenerate Gaming. That is the best place to stay up on weapon or Destiny news as far as my channel goes and other things that I have going on. We're going to be doing a little bit of changes to content and everything. We're going to be working a lot more Destiny as we move forward here in the near future. So keep that in mind. I want to say thank you to all of you for watching. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Share this video if you would. And we will see you back here for more Destiny: The Taken King.